1 minute ago, London witnessed a moment that has already begun to echo across the nation. A tense meeting between Prince William and Prime Minister Keir Starmer reportedly ended in a sudden and unexpected walkout. The reaction was immediate. Shock, confusion, and rising anger in the streets. What happened behind those doors? And why is the city reacting with such fury? Tonight, we trace the events that led to this powerful turning point and explore what it could mean for the future of the monarchy and the country. The meeting was meant to be private, a conversation between the future king and the prime minister, but tensions built quickly. William arrived with concern for national unity and public trust. Starmer focused on governance, policy, and political structure. The debate grew sharper, voices raised, and then silence. A long pause. William stood, and without another word, walked out. Within moments, the news broke. At first a whisper, then a wave. London reacted instantly. Crowds began forming outside Westminster, some cheering William's stance, others calling it disrespectful. The city split. But the biggest shock was not the walkout itself, it was the message behind it. A moment that symbolized something deeper, a struggle between tradition and authority. Prince William has never been one to seek conflict. He carries the memory of his mother, the late Princess Diana, a symbol of compassion and resilience. He understands the weight of public emotion. But he also knows that silence can be interpreted as surrender. His walkout was not anger. It was a message, a statement, a line drawn. London is now a storm of opinions, debates in cafes, arguments in parliament corridors, social media in flames. Some say William defended dignity and history. Others say Starmer was challenged unfairly. But what no one can ignore is the divide growing wider by the hour. This moment did not happen in isolation. It is part of something much larger. Behind closed doors, the palace has fallen into a profound quiet. Advisors move carefully, speaking in hushed voices, aware that every word now carries weight. Those close to Prince William say his walkout was not a reaction of sudden anger, but the result of long-building pressure, shaped by months of concern about national unity, public trust, and the direction in which the country is headed. For centuries, the monarchy has walked a delicate line, present but not political, symbolic yet deeply influential. But today, that balance is under strain. As news of the walkout spread, the media erupted. Headlines shouted. Commentators speculated. Social platforms exploded with debate. Yet amid the noise, no statement came from Prince William. None from Prime Minister Starmer. Silence. And silence in moments like this is louder than any speech. The public is now deeply divided. Some see William as standing for dignity, tradition, and the voice of the people. Others believe Starmer is protecting governance, order, and progress. But the true conflict is larger than either man. Crowds are gathering across London, not angry, but emotional, searching for answers. Young and old alike feel that something historic has happened, something that speaks to identity, heritage, and the future of the nation itself. William's walkout was not defiance, it was conviction, a quiet message that something must change. The city now waits, the country holds its breath, and the world watches to see who speaks first, and what they will say, because whatever comes next will shape history. This is not the end of the story, it is only the turning point. In the heart of Buckingham Palace, far from cameras and reporters, the royal family gathers in an emergency private council. The corridors are silent, the atmosphere heavy with history and responsibility. Senior advisors, long-serving confidants, and family figures take their seats around a long, polished table beneath towering portraits of kings and queens who once faced their own national storms. No one speaks at first. The silence itself carries a gravity that words cannot match. Prince William sits with a steady expression, aware that his recent walkout has ignited a fire across the nation. Not a reckless fire, but a fire of awakening, one that can either be guided or allowed to burn uncontrolled. There is concern in the room, yes, but also understanding. The monarchy does not move quickly, and it does not act without purpose. William explains, quietly but firmly, that the country is shaken not by conflict, but by a question. A question of identity, trust, and direction. The family listens. Some worry that speaking publicly may draw the monarchy too close to political tension. Others believe remaining silent could be seen as closing their eyes to the people's voice. For centuries, this institution has survived wars, crises, and revolutions, not through power, but through adaptation. And now, once again, a choice must be made. The conversation stretches on, thoughtful and measured. No raised voices, no accusations. Only the weight of history pressing gently on every decision. By the end, one truth becomes unmistakable. The next step must be deliberate, united, and deeply symbolic. Not a statement of authority, but a message of reassurance. The family agrees to move carefully, preparing for what may be one of the most watched public moments in modern royal history. The palace remains silent to the world. But inside, something has shifted. A decision is forming, and soon, the nation will hear it. Days pass, and the nation holds its breath, waiting for a voice from within the palace. And then, quietly, without announcement or spectacle, she appears. Princess Catherine, not in grandeur, not with ceremony, but standing before the public with the same grace and sincerity that has defined her from the beginning. Her voice is soft, but unwavering. She speaks not of politics, not of division, but of unity, compassion, and the need to listen to one another. Her words carry weight, not because they demand attention, but because they carry understanding. She acknowledges the moment the country is living through, the tension, the uncertainty, the fear of what comes next. And she reminds the nation that leadership is not only found in power, but in empathy. Catherine speaks of William not as a symbol or an heir, but as a man who shoulders a responsibility that few could imagine. She does not defend nor condemn his walkout. Instead, she reminds the public that every action taken in the face of pressure is shaped by the desire to protect something greater than oneself. The nation listens, the anger softens, the noise quiets. For a brief moment, the city is still. Catherine's words do not solve the crisis. They do not answer every question, but they bring something the nation needed most: a breath, a pause, a chance to remember that beyond politics and power, there are real people, real emotions, and a shared future that depends on understanding, not division. When her message ends, she steps away with the same quiet humility she arrived with. No applause, no dramatic exit, just silence. And in that silence, hope begins to take shape. The city does not stay still for long. After Catherine's quiet, heartfelt message, emotions rise again, not out of anger, but out of a powerful need to be heard. London's streets begin to fill, first in dozens, then in hundreds, then in thousands. People carrying signs, candles, photographs, and flags gather outside Westminster and Buckingham Palace. The protests are not violent, they are human. Tears, chants, and quiet conversations blend into a single voice, a voice calling for clarity, for unity, for understanding in a moment that feels larger than politics. Some march in support of Prince William, believing he stood for the heart of the nation. Others walk in defense of the government, fearing uncertainty in leadership. And yet, as the crowds grow, something unexpected happens. The division begins to soften. Different groups, different beliefs, different lives, standing side by side in the same cold London air. City lights reflect off rain-soaked streets. The sound of feet moving together echoes like a heartbeat. News helicopters hover above. The world watches. It becomes clear that this moment is no longer about a walkout. It is no longer about a meeting behind closed doors. It is about a country searching for its voice. A country realizing that its identity is not owned by a single person or institution, but shaped by its people. The protests swell into the night, calm yet powerful, unified yet uncertain. And as the candle flames flicker in the dark, one truth rises above the noise: something must be said. Someone must speak, and the world now waits for the next move. Just when the protests begin to find calm, the moment shatters. Late in the evening, a single notification spreads like wildfire across social media. A leaked recording, short, unclear, but powerful, begins circulating online. It appears to capture a fragment of the original private meeting between Prince William and Prime Minister Starmer. The voices are low, tense, controlled, not anger, but pressure. A disagreement over trust, transparency, and the direction of the nation. No yelling, no accusations. Just two men standing on opposite sides of a truth that neither is willing to surrender. The recording is only seconds long.